always say it is hard to understand women, but I think it's hard to understand men. How hard is it for men to show emotion? And what I'm talking about is them telling their fathers 3 small words.
I love you.
I love you. How hard is it for Kenyan men to tell their fathers I love you? Elvis, have you told your dad? Have you ever told your dad you love him?
Never.
Why?
And honestly, I've thought about it a lot of times, because there was this video once that was trending of how guys were telling their dads that they love them, and they took their dads to the theater and making a nice video, emotional. I've thought about, my dad has done a lot of great things, and I always want to tell him, you know what, nigga, I love you, man. But I can't. I can't.
What is holding you back, Elvis?
I think it's how we've been brought up.
I
think it's how
the African way.
The African way. Mwanaume ufai kulia, unalia.
But you saying I love you, si kulia?
It's being emotional, being vulnerable.
It's like asking a man if another man is handsome.
Okay, let me ask you. Have you told your mom you love her?
Yeah.
Why is it easy for your mother but not hard for your dad?
Because they are men. We are sensitive people.
I think the men in our African society were brought up to be these strong people, to be the ones in charge. So when you go tell your dad, you go to a lower level, you become so weak, you become so fragile. So your dad will be looking at you like, what happened to you, boy? I brought you up and this.
Someone was saying mababa siku hizi ukisikia anaingia hivi unakimbia huku mbio. Yaani unatoroka as if a lion has entered the house. Why are we so afraid of our dads? Another person had written on social media that maybe these dads of this time, but wale wa kitambo wa tera hapana. Haiwezekani.
Yeah, but as everyone is saying here, men are brought up to not to be strong and not show vulnerability. So I think telling their dads they love them would be like showing your weakness. And as men, you're always, like as a father is raising up his child, if it's a boy, you're taught don't cry, men don't cry from a very young age. So he'll always grow up thinking, I'm not supposed to show emotion, I'm not supposed to cry, I'm not saying I love you is a sad thing, but it shows vulnerability.
But
men would not want to be seen in such a state.
Christine, but this is the same man who will grow up in this society, get married to another woman, raise children of his own,
will teach them the same thing.
And this is the same cycle that we should not actually be allowed to exist, because sometimes we find children entering into weird behaviors or weird habits just because they don't see that kind of
you know what balances this
of
now?
Emotion.
It's the mother now. The mother comes in now to balance. You see, like Elvis. Even though there's a side of him that is very strong, there's that side of him that is very, very vulnerable.
Yeah.
Not very.
There is that side of him that you cannot.
We
never know.
Yes.
Only he knows.
Yeah.
So the mother comes in that point.
So you guys are saying it's okay. It's okay for them not to say I love you. I can imagine.
I think they know how to show love without saying the words I love you. They have their own system of how things work. They have, maybe they spend time together, and let's say if a boy knows if I'm in trouble and I call my dad, he'll always bail me out or he'll always help me. He doesn't have to physically tell me, oh son, I love you. Like, his actions show me that he loves me, so he doesn't need to say the words.
And they say actions
speak louder than the words.
But I think this kind of it should be natural.
How would you rather?
It should be natural. I'd rather when I have my children, I'd rather they'd be more able for us to express how we feel about each other and tell each other that, okay, I love you or I hate you now, you understand, when time comes. But it shouldn't be something that okay, imefika mwisho wa mwezi, mama umepata M-Pesa? Okay, sawa, hiyo ni ya chakula, kwisha. Yani you do your due diligence of calling and sending that money every month or every other time.
I think you can be close to your family. As I'm trying to say, you can be close. You don't have to speak to them once a month to show that you care for them or that you love them. And that's what I'm saying. You can bring up your children. You can have a close-knit family, but you don't have to be mushy all the time. You get, as in, you can be close to your children. You can teach your children to be close to you, that they don't only speak to you once a month. But I don't necessarily agree that they have to say their words, or African society that because fathers don't tell their kids they love them, it doesn't mean that they don't. They really do, and the things that they do for them is what shows it.
That's what matters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think we should just stick to being African and stop copying a lot of Western. I think
Love is not Western.
Emotions. It's not about copying.
Love is not Western. Love is for the whole world.
Exactly.
Love is for the
Love
whole
is not
world.
about the Americans,
Yes,
Europeans.
love is for the whole
It's
world.
not, but the way that we have been brought up, or they have been brought up, is different.
let's stick to that.
Yeah.
We are ending this show by giving out an Elvis shout. Elvis, you should tell your dad you love him, please.
Hey, I think you record it and
Look into that camera.
too much shout out. Hey dad, the
I love you.
loves you.
I appreciate.
Look at the camera, don't look at me.
And do
Oh, you
what?
appreciate me. Oh,
You know what?
I tell your dad you love him.
come on, Elvis.
It's so tricky.
I can't believe this. See you next week, guys. But don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel, Nairobi News. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And follow us on our own private social media handles at Anokush, Sylvania Ambani, Christine, and Elvis. Please tell us what you think about the show. Until next time, bye. Toodles.